Have you ever been told that walking every day is the best way to stay healthy after 70? It's a comforting thought, simple, accessible, familiar, and for many years even doctors agreed. Just keep walking. But what if I told you that new research is revealing something surprising? That walking alone, while wonderful in many ways, might actually speed up certain parts of the aging process if it's the only form of movement you rely on. You see, walking is excellent for circulation, for staying mobile, and for maintaining a sense of routine. But after 70, your body needs more strength, more balance, more flexibility to truly stay healthy, independent, and strong. When we walk, we're primarily using the large muscles in our legs. But what about the smaller stabilizing muscles? What about our core strength that keeps our spine aligned? What about the flexibility in our joints that lets us move freely without stiffness or pain? If we focus only on walking while ignoring these other essential aspects of movement, we can unknowingly accelerate muscle loss, joint strain, poor balance, and even increase our risk of falls, one of the greatest threats to independence after 70. That's why doctors today are changing their advice. They now recommend that after 70, we should not just walk more. We should walk smarter. We should shift our focus from steps alone to strength balance, flexibility, posture, and joint protection. These 5 pillars are the true foundation for maintaining vibrant health well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. In this video, we're going to walk through each of these 5 pillars together. I'll explain what they mean, why they matter, and most importantly, how you can start making small, practical changes today to protect your strength, your mobility, and your independence for years to come. And I encourage you, stay with me until the very end, because the final pillar we'll talk about is something almost no one discusses yet. It could make a massive difference in how you feel every single day. If you're ready to go beyond just walking and truly invest in your future health, let's start with the first and perhaps most important pillar, strength training. Let's start with the first and perhaps most critical pillar, strength training. Now, many people assume that walking is enough to keep their muscles strong. After all, you're moving your legs, you're staying active, you're getting your blood flowing. Isn't that building strength? Well, not exactly. Walking is wonderful for cardiovascular health and for keeping your legs mobile. But when it comes to preserving muscle mass, especially after 70, it falls short. You see, starting around age 30, we begin to lose muscle mass, naturally a process called sarcopenia. This muscle loss accelerates dramatically after 60, and by the time you reach your 70s, it becomes one of the greatest silent threats to your independence. The problem is that walking doesn't provide enough resistance to truly challenge and maintain your muscles. Without consistent strength training, you risk losing not just muscle, but balance, stability, and even basic functional abilities like standing up from a chair carrying groceries or opening a jar. Think about it for a moment. Have you noticed tasks that once felt easy starting to feel a bit harder? Do you find yourself needing your hands to push up from a chair? Or maybe lifting something that used to be light now feels surprisingly heavy? These aren't just signs of getting older. They are early warnings that your muscles are gradually weakening. Let me share the story of Robert, a 74-year-old retired teacher. Robert believed he was doing everything right. He walked every morning without fail, rain or shine. For years, he thought that was enough to keep him strong and healthy. But one afternoon, while helping his daughter move a small box of books, Robert struggled. The box that once would have felt like nothing now seemed heavy and awkward. He also noticed that getting up from his favorite armchair required a grunt of effort, something that had never happened before. At first, he shrugged it off. Just aging, I guess. But a visit to his doctor changed everything. His doctor explained that muscle loss is not just an inevitable part of aging. It's something that happens faster if you don't actively fight it. Simply walking wasn't enough. His muscles weren't being challenged in the ways needed to stay strong. Determined to regain his strength, Robert began incorporating simple strength exercises into his daily routine. Light resistance bands, bodyweight squats, lifting small dumbbells, even doing simple push-ups against the kitchen counter. The exercises were gentle, not exhausting, but they challenged his muscles just enough. Within just a few months, Robert noticed profound changes. Standing up became easier. Carrying groceries no longer felt like a chore. He even reported feeling more energized throughout the day. Strength training didn't just help his muscles, it helped restore his confidence. And here's the good news. You don't need heavy weights or a fancy gym membership to benefit. Simple strength-building activities can make a world of difference, such as standing up and sitting down from a chair without using your hands, lifting light household objects like a gallon of milk multiple times, using resistance bands for gentle arm and leg exercises, performing slow, controlled squats using just your body weight. The key is progressive resistance, gradually challenging your muscles a little more over time to keep them active and engaged. And the benefits of maintaining muscle mass go far beyond just feeling stronger. Research shows that stronger muscles are directly linked to longer life expectancy, lower risk of falls and fractures, better mobility and independence, improved brain health and cognitive function. If you want to quickly check where your strength stands right now, try this. Sit down in a sturdy chair, cross your arms over your chest, stand up without using your hands for support. Can you do it easily and smoothly? If yes, that's a fantastic sign that your lower body muscles are still strong. If you struggle or feel unstable, it may be time to start working on rebuilding your strength, and trust me, it's never too late. Even starting small, just 5 to 10 minutes a day, can lead to remarkable improvements. Now that you know why strength is the foundation of staying independent after 70, let's move to another critical piece of the puzzle. Balance and stability, because strength without balance can still leave you vulnerable. Now that we've talked about building strength, let's move on to the second critical pillar, balance and stability. Many people believe that if they're walking every day, their balance must be fine. After all, walking is movement, and movement keeps you steady, right? Well, not necessarily. While walking does keep your legs moving, it doesn't do much to actively train your balance system, the intricate network of small muscles, nerves, and reflexes that keep you upright and steady. You see, balance is a skill just like strength or flexibility. And like any skill, if you don't practice it, you lose it. After 70, our sense of balance naturally begins to decline. Our stabilizing muscles in the ankles, feet, and core weaken. The communication between our brain and body slows down. Vision changes and joint stiffness further reduce our steadiness. And if we aren't actively working to maintain balance, we become more vulnerable to stumbles, trips, and falls, which sadly are a leading cause of serious injuries in older adults. In fact, statistics show that 1 out of 4 Americans aged 65 and older falls each year. And falls often trigger a cascade of consequences, from broken bones to lost independence. Let me introduce you to Edward, a 76-year-old former accountant who prided himself on staying active. He walked several miles every week and considered himself healthy and capable. One afternoon, Edward was stepping off a curb while heading into a coffee shop. His foot landed at an awkward angle, and in a split second, he lost his balance. Thankfully, he caught himself on a nearby railing and avoided a fall. But that moment shook him. For the first time, Edward realized that while he was staying active, he wasn't truly staying steady. When he visited his doctor, he learned that walking alone doesn't challenge the tiny stabilizing muscles or the reflexes responsible for quick adjustments, the things that prevent falls. Determined to regain his confidence, Edward started adding simple balance exercises to his daily routine, and the changes were remarkable. The good news is that training your balance doesn't require fancy equipment. In fact, it can be done right at home with simple, safe movements like standing on one foot for 10-30 seconds at a time, walking heel to toe in a straight line like you're balancing on a tightrope, shifting your weight slowly from side to side while maintaining control, practicing gentle Tai Chi movements which combine slow, controlled motions and mindful balance. These exercises activate the stabilizing muscles, sharpen your body's awareness of position, and train your nervous system to react quickly when needed. And the benefits go far beyond just avoiding falls. Improved balance also means better posture, easier movement with less effort, greater confidence when navigating stairs, uneven surfaces, or crowded areas. Want to quickly check your current balance? Here's a simple test. Stand near a countertop or sturdy chair for safety. Lift one foot off the ground and try to hold your balance for at least 10 seconds. How does it feel? If you can do it easily and steadily, that's a fantastic sign. If you wobble or need to grab onto something quickly, it's a signal that your balance needs some attention, and that's okay. Balance, like strength, can be rebuilt with consistent practice. And the earlier you start, the better a few minutes a day can create a huge difference over time. Now that you understand how important balance is for staying steady and independent, let's move on to another pillar that is just as critical. Flexibility and mobility, because staying flexible keeps your body moving smoothly and pain-free. Now that we've talked about strength and balance, let's move on to another essential pillar for healthy aging: flexibility and mobility. You might think that if you're walking daily, your joints must be staying loose and flexible, right? Unfortunately, that's not always the case. While walking does involve movement, it tends to be repetitive and limited to a narrow range of motion. It doesn't fully stretch the muscles or engage the joints through their complete range like flexibility exercises do. As we age, our joints naturally stiffen, our connective tissues lose elasticity, and our range of motion starts to shrink. Reaching overhead becomes harder. Bending down to tie your shoes feels tighter. Turning your head while driving starts to feel restricted. These small changes often creep up quietly, and many people chalk them up to just getting older. But the truth is, loss of flexibility is not inevitable. It happens when we stop using the full range of our body's movements regularly. And if ignored, stiffness can snowball into much bigger issues: increased risk of falls due to reduced mobility, difficulty performing daily activities like dressing, bathing, or getting into a car, greater joint pain and discomfort. Let me introduce you to Walter, a vibrant 78-year-old retired mechanic. Walter loved his morning walks around the neighborhood park. He believed staying active this way was keeping him young. But over time, Walter noticed some troubling signs. Getting out of bed in the morning felt stiffer. Bending down to pick something up required extra effort. Reaching for the seatbelt in his car became awkward and uncomfortable. At first, Walter thought these were just the inevitable signs of aging, but a visit to his physical therapist revealed otherwise. His muscles and joints were losing flexibility, not because of age alone, but because he wasn't moving them through their full ranges. Determined to regain his freedom of movement, Walter began a simple routine of flexibility and mobility exercises, and within a few short weeks, he felt like a new man. The great news is that flexibility can be improved at any age with gentle, consistent effort. You don't need complicated routines, just a few simple daily practices like neck rotations, slowly turning your head left and right to maintain cervical flexibility, shoulder rolls, gently rotating your shoulders forward and backward, knee to chest stretches, while lying down, gently pulling one knee toward your chest at a time, ankle circles, moving your ankles in slow circles to keep them supple. Another fantastic approach is dynamic stretching, moving stretches rather than holding static poses. This method is particularly good for older adults because it improves flexibility and warms up the joints at the same time. Simple yoga-inspired movements, chair yoga, or gentle tai chi can also be extremely effective at maintaining and even increasing your mobility. And the benefits extend far beyond just feeling looser. Less joint pain and stiffness, better circulation, improved posture, greater ease in everyday tasks from gardening to grocery shopping. Would you like to quickly check your current flexibility? Try this simple test. Stand up straight. Slowly turn your head to look over your left shoulder, then over your right shoulder. Ask yourself, does it feel smooth and easy? Or do you feel tightness, restriction, or even slight discomfort? If you notice tightness, it's a sign your flexibility may need some attention. And the earlier you start working on it, the easier it will be to maintain or even improve your range of motion. Remember, maintaining flexibility isn't about doing extreme stretches or touching your toes like a gymnast. It's about keeping your body free, comfortable, and capable so you can continue living life on your own terms. Now that we've explored how flexibility keeps your body moving smoothly, let's shift our focus to something equally important: core and posture, because a strong center is the true anchor that supports every movement you make. We've talked about strength, balance, and flexibility now. It's time to focus on the core of it all, quite literally your core and posture. Most people think of the core as just abs or having a toned belly, but in reality, your core is so much more than that. It's the complex group of muscles that wrap around your entire midsection, including your lower back, hips, and pelvis, acting like a natural corset that supports your spine, stabilizes your body, and allows you to move with strength and control. And after 70, maintaining a strong, engaged core becomes even more critical because when your core weakens, your posture starts to collapse. Your spine loses alignment. You begin to hunch forward, putting extra strain on your joints and lower back. Over time, this leads to chronic lower back pain, greater risk of falls due to instability, reduced lung capacity, and poor digestion. Yes, your core even impacts how you breathe and digest food. And unfortunately, walking alone doesn't activate the deep core muscles you need to keep your body upright and strong. Let me share the story of Harold, a spirited 75-year-old retired engineer. Harold prided himself on staying active. He walked, he gardened, he played with his grandkids. But over the past few years, something changed. His shoulders started to round forward. He noticed a persistent tightness in his lower back. Standing for long periods felt more tiring than it used to. Harold assumed it was just part of aging. But after a mild slip while stepping onto a curb, he realized something needed to change. A visit to his doctor revealed the real culprit: weakened core muscles and poor postural alignment. His walking routine wasn't enough to engage or strengthen the deep muscles necessary to keep his spine supported. Determined to regain his posture and comfort, Harold began a core-focused exercise routine, and the transformation was remarkable. You don't need to do crunches or intense gym workouts to strengthen your core. In fact, gentle, focused exercises are often far more effective, especially after 70. Here are a few examples you can easily incorporate at home. Seated pelvic tilts. Sit on a sturdy chair. Gently tilt your pelvis forward and backward to engage the lower abdominal muscles. Standing posture. Resets to stand tall against a wall with your heels, hips, shoulders, and head touching the wall. Gently pull your belly button in toward your spine. Abdominal bracing. While sitting or standing, imagine bracing your core as if someone is about to poke your stomach. Tighten hold for a few seconds, then relax. Gentle rotations. Slowly twist your torso left and right, engaging your oblique muscles while maintaining good posture. Even spending just 5 to 10 minutes a day doing these mindful movements can lead to noticeable improvements. The benefits of core and posture exercises are profound. Reduced lower back pain, better balance and faster reaction times, improved breathing and digestion, and a more youthful, confident posture. And there's another emotional benefit too. When you stand tall, you feel stronger, more energetic, and more resilient inside and out. Want to quickly check your posture and core engagement? Try this simple test. Stand with your back against a wall. See if your head, shoulder blades, and hips can touch the wall comfortably at the same time. Notice if you have to force yourself or if it feels natural. If standing tall against the wall feels awkward or strained, it's a clear sign that your posture and your core could use some extra attention. The sooner you start working on it, the better your chances of preserving a strong, upright, pain-free body well into your later years. It's never too late to improve your posture and rebuild your core strength. Every little step you take today is an investment in the freedom, comfort, and independence you'll enjoy tomorrow. Now that you know how crucial your core and posture are for stability and strength, let's turn our attention to one final but equally vital area: joint protection and low-impact movements, because preserving your joints is essential for keeping every step you take pain-free. We've talked about building strength, improving balance, maintaining flexibility, and protecting your core. Now let's focus on something just as important: joint protection and low-impact movements. Walking is often seen as a joint-friendly exercise, and to some extent it is. But if walking is your only form of movement, especially as you get older, it can actually begin to wear down your joints over time. Why? Because walking, while low impact compared to running, still involves repetitive stress on the same joints: your hips, knees, ankles, and lower back. As we age, our cartilage naturally thins. The lubricating fluid inside our joints decreases. The shock absorption capabilities of our joints become less effective. Without intentional joint care, this can lead to increased stiffness, pain, and discomfort after walking, greater risk of arthritis or degenerative joint issues. And here's the tricky part. Many older adults assume that joint pain is just part of aging. But in reality, much of the discomfort comes from overuse without proper support and balance. Let's meet Raymond, a 77-year-old retired firefighter who loves staying active. Every morning, Raymond would lace up his sneakers and head out for his daily 3-mile walk, believing he was doing everything right for his health. But after a year or two, he started noticing something troubling. His knees felt sore and stiff after his walks. His hips ached, especially when getting up from a chair. He even felt occasional discomfort in his lower back. At first, Raymond thought it was just part of getting older. But after consulting a joint specialist, he learned the truth. His joints were being overstressed by repetitive walking without enough variation or support. The specialist explained that protecting the joints after 70 means not just moving, but moving smarter. Raymond adapted his routine, and the results were remarkable. Protecting your joints doesn't mean you have to stop being active. It simply means incorporating more joint-friendly, low-impact movements into your daily life. Here are a few excellent options. Swimming or water aerobics. The buoyancy of water supports your joints, making movement easier and less stressful. Cycling, stationary or outdoor, provides great cardiovascular benefits with minimal joint strain. Tai Chi or gentle yoga combines balance, flexibility, and strength in slow, controlled movements that are easy on the joints. Chair-based exercises. Simple seated routines can strengthen muscles around your joints without overloading them. Additionally, mixing in flexibility exercises like the ones we discussed earlier helps lubricate joints, improve circulation, and maintain range of motion. And don't forget, shoes matter too. Wearing supportive cushioned footwear can significantly reduce joint stress during walking or daily activities. Want to quickly check how your joints are holding up? Try this simple test. Sit in a sturdy chair. Slowly stand up without using your hands for support. Pay attention to how your knees, hips, and ankles feel during the movement. Do they move smoothly and easily, or do you notice stiffness, discomfort, or hesitation? If there's any pain or tightness, it's your body's gentle way of asking for more joint-friendly care. Remember, joint health is about preservation. When you protect your joints now, you're not just avoiding discomfort, you're safeguarding your ability to move freely, independently, and joyfully for years to come. Small changes today, like diversifying your activities, listening to your body, and choosing low-impact options, can make a tremendous difference in how you feel tomorrow. Now that we've explored all 5 pillars of healthy movement after 70, let's take a step back and reflect, because understanding these concepts is the first step toward creating a future full of strength, stability, and vitality. As we wrap up today's journey together, I invite you to take a moment and reflect. Think about everything we've covered: building strength to preserve your independence, sharpening balance to prevent dangerous falls, maintaining flexibility to move freely and without pain, strengthening your core to stand tall and breathe easier, protecting your joints so every step you take feels smooth and effortless. Each of these 5 pillars is important on its own, but together they create a foundation, a true blueprint for living strong, stable, and vibrant well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. It's easy to fall into the habit of thinking that more walking is always the answer. But now you know, while walking is wonderful, it's not enough by itself. Your body after 70 deserves more thoughtful care. It deserves movement that challenges your muscles, protects your joints, sharpens your balance, and keeps you flexible and upright. And the most beautiful part, it's never too late to start. Whether you're already active or just beginning, small, intentional steps can lead to profound, lasting changes. You have the power to strengthen your body, preserve your independence, and extend your vitality, one simple, consistent habit at a time. Because aging isn't about slowing down, it's about moving smarter. It's about investing a little bit of energy each day to create a future full of freedom, comfort, and dignity. So ask yourself, which of these 5 pillars do I need to focus on the most? What one small thing can I start today to build a stronger tomorrow? Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about showing up for yourself a little each day with kindness, patience, and courage. If this video gave you some new ideas or inspiration, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below sharing one insight you're taking away or one small step you're planning to start today. And if you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone you care about. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content, and together we can build a community that celebrates strength, vitality, and joy at every age. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Stay strong, stay steady, and keep moving forward.